Welcome back, Gator Nation. Nick Delatorre here with not Corey Bender. Gave Corey a break. Keith Niebuhr reporting live from under a beautiful oak tree, maybe? Spanish moss hanging in the background. Keith is boots on the ground here in Gainesville. Keith, what is the mood like around campus?
It's dead. School's out, obviously.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful day. It feels great outside, but you wonder what's going on in the athletic building behind me and the football building in front of me. I think they really had high hopes, and they still do. They still think they're going to land, Gregory Smith, the safety. They think they've got a good shot with Jaden Ball, the running back, who they beat out Alabama for. Still in it with Favor Edwin. I'm checking my phone as we talk here, who's a big offensive tackle they like. Put up a fight, I think, with Jeremiah Smith, the 5-star receiver, but who's committed to Ohio State. There's just been no chatter about Florida. All the chatter has been about the other schools involved. Ohio State, whom he's committed to, Florida State, and maybe a little Miami. And so, but the big news, obviously, is that LJ McCray may not sign today, and that's one of your 5-star guys. And, this is a staff that's prided itself on recruiting and turning the culture around and all that stuff. And way to keep LJ McCray in the class, quite frankly, because Nick, if the things you hang your hat on aren't as good as what you sold them to be, then it's tough. It's tough. That's a reality. Everybody watching, everybody listening knows this. And so they've got to figure out a way here to hold off Auburn on LJ McCray. Now, I don't know what you're hearing, Nick, but we've known for a while, a few months, that NIL had become, sorry, there's a little noise, had become more of a factor in this recruitment, but Florida has felt very comfortable. They felt like they got it done, and this is where he wanted to be, football-wise, school-wise, NIL-wise, and all that stuff. So the fact that I think we got a tweet here. The fact that he may not sign today is not what Florida really is hoping for. They want to get this done and fast. Just as we're speaking, Mike Williams' letter of intent has come in.
So I have a source that has said LJ McCray has signed his NIL paperwork with Florida. That's non-binding. You can sign NIL paperwork with 20 schools, and they'll just void the contract if you don't show up. So that's something. Did Auburn come in, find out what the number was, and come in over the top? And is that what we're waiting on? We're not sure. But agree with Keith, and I said this at our 10 a.m. update, which was this is the guy, and I've been consistent with this. Whether it's going to be positive or negative is not up to me. This is a guy you have to have. If you're trying to accelerate your rebuild process, which will be going into year 3, these are the battles you have to win over Georgia. These are the kind of impact players you need to sign. So we're all sitting here waiting to see what LJ McCray will do. But let's go to some of the guys. We haven't gotten to everybody yet that Florida has signed, so let's update you on those 3, starting with Tawaski Abrams, TJ Abrams, receiver. Keith, what can Florida fans expect from Abrams?
Yeah, real fast, exciting player. Not huge, not a really big guy, kind of like one of their other receiver guys, Jeray Hawkins. But he's really fast. He's really good in space. He's good in the open field, good with the ball in his hands, good after the catch, good on jet sweeps. Really fast and dynamic player. I think he can take the top off of defense, but the bulk of his work may be in the middle of the field where you can catch a short pass and do something with it, make somebody miss.
Florida has a guy like that. In Eugene Wilson, saw how he was an instant impact for the team. I think you've got one in Hawkins and another one in Abrams. Big news was transfer portal news was Trevor Etienne leaving. Florida gets a guy from Mississippi. Saw Katie Turner tweet a little from the SIP. I'm sure that was directed at one Lane Kiffin. What do we know about Cannon Daniels, who I think rushed for 2,000 plus yards in each of the last 2 seasons? Prospect to come in and shore up that running back room.
I mean, really good player. Kind of can be an every down back. He's got good size. He's not huge, but he's not small either. But hang on one sec. But the thing is, he had a huge year, like you said, over 2,000 yards, led his team to the state championship game, had over 200 rushing yards in the state championship finals. Also, he was the Class 5A State Player of the Year in Mississippi. So he's a really good player. I think Florida beat out Mississippi State to land him. And it may not sound like much to people in Florida, but to go into Mississippi anytime and you beat one of the two schools there, it is significant. It's hard to get guys out of there. Just ask everybody that tried to recruit Chris Jones away from Mississippi State, a decade ago. It's not easy. And so he's a really good player. Other schools like him a lot. I think he's a guy that could get some carries in year one. Quite frankly, we need to see if there's any other attrition. And obviously he needs to, he's going to have to pick up things fast, but he's got some real potential.
And blocking for him, we've seen a couple of offensive linemen already sign in. Marcus Mascall is the newest one. Believe this is a Peach State, Keith, back where you used to live up there in Atlanta. Marcus Mascall just signing. I think he is the second to latest person to be announced by the University of Florida.
Yeah, they actually got him and another offensive lineman just in the last hour or so. Marcus Mascall, guard or tackle, is 6'4", 6'5", in that range. He could play either or. You'll cross train him and see what he does best. So he adds some position flexibility, versatility there. And one other thing about him is that his older brother played at Clemson, Justin Mascall, and so he kind of knows what it's like to be a college football player. His brother just played his last year for the Tigers up at Clemson. So I think they have high hopes for him. LSU really liked him a lot and wanted him. They wanted him on board. I think the feeling is maybe he's a little bit of a developmental guy, but so are most offensive linemen. So, what you hope with these guys is by year 2, they're starting to hit the field, Nick. By year 3, they're a starter, and he's got position to be a starter at 2 different positions. So I think there's a lot to like there. And Mike Williams, who also, they just got his letter of intent, 6'7", over 300 pounds. The piece of clay is there. The great Mo Collins, who played offensive tackle here, and I believe was definitely all conference, maybe all American. The late great, I should say, he passed away a few years ago. He once told me, we were talking about this kid that was big and didn't have great musculature, didn't have the great build. And he said, but look, Keith, look at the piece of clay. Look at the piece of clay and then look for a skill set. And the player he was talking about was a guy that everybody kind of just glossed over. Tennessee dropped him on signing day, and he was getting ready to sign with South Carolina State, and Oklahoma took a chance, and it's Orlando Brown, who's now one of the highest paid offensive tackles in the NFL. Mike Williams has a similar type body. I don't want to say sloppy. That's not fair, but it's not where it's going to be in a couple of years. So the body's there. The skill set's there. He's a mean kid on the football field. So that's there, and we'll see. He's got some ability.
Been tons of news coming in all throughout the day. Keith is there. Zach is in the building. We will all be at Billy Napier's press conference later once this is all said and done. A couple of questions that I saw in here. DJ Lagway, his signing is at 3:30 Central Time, 4:30. So we'll be waiting on Billy Napier when DJ has his signing. Nothing really to be worried about. We talked about Texas A&M coming in late. There were reports about USC coming in late. Having talked with DJ shortly after his visit to Los Angeles, he's a kid from small town Willis, Texas. Not to say that he didn't like LA, but just maybe wasn't comfortable there. And obviously USC had a quarterback, then lost a couple quarterbacks, so they're coming in late. But Keith, you were in Willis, and I think you've been to LA before. Quite different.
Quite different. What do you mean? What's quite different?
The Willis, Texas, and Los Angeles.
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't know how to answer that. I just feel like Florida's going to be in good shape with him. I don't get the question, Nick. I can't. Maybe it's because I can't hear. What about Willis? So you're saying it's? I said when DJ went to LA, it wasn't that he didn't like it. Just, maybe not comfortable there. And I'm saying Willis, Texas, home of 7,000 people. I think there's 7,000 different Starbucks in Los Angeles. That's true, but it is very close to Houston, which is like the 3rd or 4th biggest city in the country. Massive, okay? And he's in Houston a lot. But I love the DJ Lagway's ability. Obviously, who doesn't? Charlie says keep Keith outside. Charlie, man, come on, dude. I think the thing with DJ is that he wants to build something at Florida. He's talked about let's turn this thing around. He's been a big recruiter, and people say, well, why would he listen to other programs down the stretch? Well, if you always got to keep your options open. You don't know what's going to happen from one day to the next. So you always keep your options open. Really successful business people say that all the time. I watch these things on TV. Like, always keep your options open. And then, if he comes to Florida and he doesn't like it, then he's got good relationships with other people. But he likes Florida. He's ready to be at Florida. His plan is to go play in the Under Armour All-America game in Orlando, which I believe the check-in day is next week, the 29th, and then he will play in that game and then drive to Gainesville afterwards. Obviously, Florida, we're waiting for Florida, waiting for his official announcement that he's sticking with Florida, but all indications are that they feel very good. Now, look, they felt good about LJ McCray, but not as good. They knew that it was more of a battle with LJ McCray. I think everybody knew that with Auburn coming in and pushing hard. There's been some questions, Nick, about will Florida push or will Florida match what Auburn's offered NIL? I'd have to think so. I mean, we've talked about this before. There's a couple guys you can't let go, right? There's a couple guys you can't let get away. And I think he's one of them. So I think you, as a program, you figure out how you need to get them and you do it. I think it's that simple.
Yeah. Find the money. Go fund me. Go fund me if you need to. This one's from Edward. Edward, Billy Napier is scheduled to talk today after at around 4:30, 4:45. That's right after DJ Lagway's signing. Charlie wants to keep you outside, thinks the Auburn curse has seemed to follow you. But yeah.
Well, the first year I covered Auburn, they won on a Hail Mary and a kick six and played for the national championship. They didn't go 5-7, so don't blame me for this failure. Okay.
It took a while for your stink to really infiltrate the program.
Oh yeah, exactly. But here it permeated right away. Don't blame me for that. No, but look, if they can get LJ McCray on board, they can still have a really good signing day. But we'll see.
Yeah, that'll be the big thing. I think DJ Lagway sticks. I've felt confident about LJ. That shakes a little bit when he announces he's not going to sign today, or Hayes Fawcett says there's a high probability he won't sign. He still could. That will be interesting. So, ton of stuff happening. There's never a dull day covering the Florida Gators. Always seems to be something happening. He's Keith Niebuhr. He's on the ground. Make sure if you're here and you're listening, hit the subscribe button. Zach's in the building. We've got a couple threads up to the minute updates all throughout the day. Tune in, sign up. It's only $1. Or if you want to sign up for an entire year, you can get half off now through our signing day special. We will have another show coming up for you at 2 p.m. I'll be with either Keith or Corey, and then we'll be live at Billy Napier's signing day press conference right before 5 o'clock. For Keith Niebuhr, I'm Nick Delatorre. Thank you for joining.